Hello, in this video we're going to do a little orientation on your Gy6 150cc and common problem that you might have in the future. And in this video I will show you how. Well, hello and welcome to this video. Today I'd like to give you a little overview of the Gy6 150cc scooter. Now, mainly this scooter looks pretty good. You know, the design of the scooter looks great. There is like the wheels right here. There's two wheels that they are 13 inches wide, so they're pretty good tires and good for the, you know, what the use that you need to have for the scooter. You know, these scooters, they last around, I can say about 13,000 miles to 15,000 miles. You know, pretty good if you take care of them. Some scooters, they went up to 25,000 miles, but I think they're kind of too high, because little by little with age, the scooter, they have problem left and right. Now, I can point for you a few problems that you're going to find with the scooters, okay? So right here, let's see, let me get you the my tools right here. I can say that we have few problems. One is right at the shocks right here. See these problems that the shocks, they're getting rusty right here, especially on the top and on the center. Right here on the center shaft of this the shocks, they might get rusty, they might have problem. One time I had a problem, one of the shocks really broke on me with the left side, so I felt the scooter went down a little bit on the left side, and I had the big problem. I realized that one of the shocks was broken, and I was traveling about 45 miles an hour, so that can be a dangerous thing. So if you can, you know, that's something you could really upgrade. There is these shocks on this scooter, they need to be upgraded to have a better, you know, better quality, and plus you're going to be safe, because if one of the shocks is going to break on you, like happened to me, you can have a big problem, and you can lose the control of the scooter or something. Maybe this shock is gonna go and stuck the tire of the back tire of your scooter. At that point you're going to have a big problem, especially if you're going higher speed. Now that's something you really need to change, you know, something to really upgrade. Now another problem that you could find on the scooters is right here at the attachment of the mirrors, okay? Now, because they're made of plastic and there's not good quality, and there is a little washer right here that is kind of like pressing on the plastic and gives you some problem. All these right here, these ones, the little connection, the bolt and the screw that is there is not really high quality. So if you can change that bolt to a better one, like a stainless steel, will be a great upgrade. But sometime right here you can place between the right here between the washer and the mirror, something like a round washer made of rubber, so it will take the pressure of the bouncing of the mirror. Now this mirror also will crack in the future right over here, so it is very, you know, fragile, because it's made of plastic, and you know, if they start to move along, they will crack. So if you can change the mirror to a better quality without having these lights right here. You know, no lights over here, no turn signal over here, that you don't really need it, because there is a problem with this one that is, you know, in the future they can break right here on this position. So it's very annoying to drive around with the scooter, and this one can break, okay? Now, after that, there are many other problems that you can have with the scooters. Right here, common problem is underneath right here your, you know, storage right here, that when you're riding, this storage is not really high quality the way it's set up, and there's a possibility that you know, is going to move, or even is gonna, you know, fly away from you. That happened before to me, that there is a problem right there, that you can break the screws that are underneath and the attachment is not really good. So you need to reinforce this trunk back here to make sure you have a better, attachment from the trunk to the frame of the motorcycle, or to the frame right here of the back rack right here. Okay, now this is something you really have to pay attention. Now this kind of setup for the scooters, they work pretty good. Sometimes you might have some problem that is coming from the top right here. There is a little cover that they might break, because pressing down this mirror right here, sometimes there is a little plastic here that can break. Okay, so this one is not really a big deal, but in the same time you can remove this plastic cover that is over here, that you could have a problem. Okay, now after that you can expect these lights, because they are made of not great quality. The plastic shade, the front part plastic of these lights, that is at the beginning is nice and clear. About 5,000 miles you're going to see this kind of getting on the yellowish color. Now what you can do, you can clean them with a toothpaste and a little sponge, but not too much scratching. You don't want a rough sponge, but you want to clean them with a little bit of toothpaste. Toothpaste is always really good to help you to clean these lights, but they're not gonna be magically coming back to a clear color. Okay, now strangely these ones up here, they're not going to get too yellowish. Okay, so the one that are getting a little more yellowish is these ones. Okay, now after that, having this one clean a little more, what you can do, maybe you can find somebody who cleans them and cleans the lens with a sandpaper and give you a finish to the clear coat of the lights or the headlights. But sometimes there is a problem that you burn that kind of the top part, and that part will not come back clear again like it used to. Now what you can do, you can buy online the old headlight for about $40. I can see a company in Florida is partsforscooter.com. They have a lot of lights and they're good prices. You can find them on eBay, you can find sometime on Amazon, but not all the time, for this kind of setup. But make sure you get the right lights for you. If you want a brand new lights, some of them they have the attachment down here, it's like down here and up here. Okay, and some of them they have right here and right here, but they don't have down here the attachment. So you have to make sure before you order the lights for your scooter, you have to make sure that they are the right lights, headlights for your scooter. Okay, now other problems that you can go through with the scooter, usually they're common problems. They're not really big deals, but sometimes there is always really something that happen with the scooters. Okay, right over here we have the bearings of the front tire. Okay, now sometimes if you do not ride your scooter too often, or sometimes you keep it parked for a long time, especially in the winter time, there's a problem because they start to squeak. They start to make some noise and grinding noise. Sometimes you need to give some love to those little bearings. Remove the tire. I have a lot of videos online that you can take care of your scooter, especially I have a video that you can take care of the bearings and remove the tire and expose the bearings and place a little bit of grease where you need to have the bearings. Now this one is one place that you need the grease. Another place is over here. That's where you get a lot of usually lots of water, rain down there, a lot of splash coming from the street underneath the scooter. So what's really, you need to place some grease over here at the center stand. On the side you have the side stand right here. Okay, a little bit of grease or a little bit of silicone spray like WD-40, but don't put regular WD-40 because they get dry up too fast. You can place a little bit of silicone WD-40. Now After that, just to show you a few things, just to give you a little overview of the whole scooter, it's like where is all the things. It's like the blinker relay on this scooter is right inside the nose. So if your blinker are not working, the turn signal are not working, could be the wiring or could be the blinker relay. That's the problem right here. So this one is something that can maybe not working and your lights are not working, or sometimes you even just have a bad switch for the right here for the blinkers that is on this side right here. Sometimes corrosion from rain or other things can happen to the little switch, especially if you keep outside your scooter. Something could happen, and at that point you will need to spray some things, or maybe just change the switch, change the switch and your lights will work again. But many times just by not working your blinkers, they tells you that relay went bad. So that's something. Okay, now another thing that I can tell you, where is the battery? The battery, especially if you're brand new to the scooters, the battery is right here. That's the battery. And let me tell you, the first time I bought these scooters, I didn't know where it was the battery. So that was really funny for me. But little by little, when you buy these scooters, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna understand the scooter, what it really needs, and you're gonna listen all the noises that you have in the scooters. Okay, so you're gonna kind of get used to it. Another thing that is slightly low, that you have to pay attention, is to the seat of the scooter that is slightly slippery. Okay, because it's slightly slippery, you have to be careful to do not really slide forward. Okay, when you're pushing your brake, when you're holding your brake, make sure you kind of don't slide forward, because these seats, they're not really too great to keep you in position. So especially make sure you don't put anything clean, you don't clean them with products that they're gonna make more slippery, because you don't want to really kind of go forward when you're pushing your brakes, or when you're holding your brakes, you don't want to go forward your body. Okay, so another thing right here, we have the opening. Just a little overview. This one is the opening where you can find the spark plug and the head of the motor right here. This one is a little door that you can open. Be careful when you open this one, that when the motor is still hot, so if you put your hands inside, you might burn your head, because the hands are going very close to the exhaust pipe that is down here. Okay, now those are things that you really have to be careful. Right, now let's see, I'll show you something else. Right, let's go a little bit over here, the other side of the scooter. This scooter, they're pretty good. It's a good quality scooter, and they last pretty long time for what you pay for it. But now, actually, right now, this scooter, they really went slightly higher on price, and it's kind of like overpriced a little bit for these scooters, because you might have to pay $1,400 to $1,700 for this scooter. Now this one is a Gy6 Motor 4 strokes. Okay, and it is a 157 QMJ. Okay, this one is the kind of motor that you have right here. On this side, that would be the left side of the scooter, you have the CVT cover. Okay, so the CVT cover is the cover that kind of protect inside the variator that is up front, and that is a pulley, and it protects the clutch that is in the back. Now the clutch is slightly bigger than the variator. Now right here we have the belt that goes between the two pulley, the variator and the clutch. The belt, this one is 835/2030. That's usually what is this belt. And this belt is, I like Gates, GATES belt. They're a little higher quality than other belts, and they're made in the USA. And they're made of Kevlar, reinforces, so they last slightly longer. But some of them, sometimes they're slightly too thicker, and they will give you a strange vibration in the scooter. So until that belt gets a little more usage, it will become slightly, you know, thinner. At that point your scooter will run a lot better, you know. So right here, that's the CVT cover. You have the kickstand right here that not too great. You know, this one is the kickstand. I can use this one just as an emergency. If your starter motor is not working, you can use this one to turn on your scooter, the kickstand, kickstart. But it's not really working too great. Okay, this is not really, but you know, it's better than nothing. You can turn on your scooter with that, you know, kickstart, you know. So right here we have the kickstart, and right here we have the starter motor. Now starter motor is a great little motor, but sometimes be careful on overworking that little motor. If your scooter is not started, don't press the start button like there is no tomorrow. So start the scooter for 5 seconds. If the scooter is not starting, release the starter button and let the scooter relax for a few minutes, because your scooter, you know, especially if your scooter is good but it's just a little motor, it's kind of small for this scooter and gets really hot right away, and you can damage the little starter motor. So you have to be careful how long you're going to press the starter button, how long that motor is gonna work. Okay, so if your scooter is not starting right away, it could be another reason why it's not starting. Okay, so right after that, right here we have the exhaust system. This is the exhaust system. It's not too great. You should expect to have that exhaust system after 3,000 miles to start to rattle a little bit, make some funny noise, but you know, it's gonna last you at least 6,000 miles, and then you can buy a new one. Don't buy those ones. They're really, they say they're performance exhaust for the scooter, because there is a problem that they're not made for the scooters, and you have to bend them and adjust them to you know, fit them to these scooters. So the problem in these scooters that these parts are not too great, but you know, if the exhaust system is not working right or is wobbling a lot, you know what you can do? You just buy the same product, because that will be the best. Because if you place something that is off the market and is not really the same for this kind of scooter, the problem that is gonna start to, your scooter is gonna sound like a dirt bike. It's not gonna sound like a scooter. It's gonna backfire. It's gonna make a lot of different noises, and at the end it's gonna be a break, because the alignment of this kind of like exhaust that they are not made for these scooters, they don't align pretty good. They don't align the direction of these exhausts. They're not really the same. So you know, just leave the same exhaust system until it's rattling too much and you have to change it. Okay, now the filter on the scooter, that sometimes, you know, you can clean them, and if you're not really live in a rural area, in an area where there's a lot of dust, you don't really have to clean them too often. So the air filter is right here underneath your seat. So you open your seat, you open the seat, and you see the filter is inside here. You have to open a little box, because the filter is inside the box. That's where you have to open the little filter. It's kind of like a round filter. You can buy it online for about $10, because sometimes instead to just clean it, because it's made of paper, you have to blast it with compressor air or something like that, and you can dust them off. But the best one is just to buy a $10 new filter and just put it on the scooter. So that's the great thing that you can do. You know, those are a lot of things that you can see on this scooter. The lights are working pretty good right here. The only problem I can say about these lights, that if you have this, you know, storage over here and a truck is behind you, the view of the trucker, the person who's going to drive the truck, is not going to see your light when you're pushing the brake. So the brake light is going to be covered by this trunk, this backside storage that you have. If behind you there is a truck or there is a car that is more elevated and is higher than your scooter. Okay, There is a big problem here, so you have to be careful when you have a truck behind you, because they might not see your light pulling the brake. You know, they might not see you pulling the brake. So make sure and pay attention with your mirror, because those are two mirrors that you have right here. And make sure and pay attention who's behind you all the time, because people nowadays lately, they're really on the phone, they're really occupied inside their car, they're doing a lot of things they should not be doing, instead of driving the car or doing what they're supposed to do. So sometimes they don't really pay attention to us. But you have two mirrors, one here and one here, you can pay attention what everybody else is doing in the back. Okay, so it's really important to know what everybody is doing behind you. Okay, now let me see right here, I can show you the other side. See, this side right here, I can tell you that there is a lot of little things right here that you can look. Okay, I can explain a little overview of the things that are over here. Okay, now if you look over here, there is two brackets right here on the exhaust pipe. Okay, these brackets, sometimes they break. You know, usually the one that is more up here, it could break down here. If it breaks down here, it's gonna put more pressure on the brake bracket right here on the front. You know, at that point the other bracket is gonna break. Okay, so if you see that one bracket is broken, change it as soon as possible. Okay, because the other one is gonna break after that. Okay, and if both brackets are going to break, you know, at that point your lower part of your exhaust connection, the head of the exhaust, is going to break. So it's like a chain reaction that happens with the scooter. So pay attention what is really happening. How do you know that usually the first bracket is going to break? First of all, use your eyes. Your eyes are the best asset that you can have. So before even you ride with a scooter, try to look around. You know, you always want to look around if there is any drop of oil, if there is anything, it doesn't look the way it should be looking, if the tire, they look nice and inflated, if there is something that is, you know, they look suspicious. Okay, so it's very important to see and understand that. So after you look at this one, if you don't see nothing, because sometimes it's broken down here, by riding the scooter, you're gonna hear a little more rattling, a little more vibration on the exhaust system. That will tell you that this first bracket is broken. You know, right here, the part that is holding, holding the exhaust system could be broken. So this one is something you have to pay attention. Right after that, I like to point something right here. That right here we have the caliper. Okay. This is the caliper of the front brake. Okay, now you want to make sure there is no leaks on this caliper, especially on this part of right here of the hose. It's very important to do not have any leaks. Okay, now there is few different calipers, especially if you're different scooter. There is one that has two pistons. Okay, and there is one that has only one piston. Now the two things, the two brake pads are different from one to another. One is a square, the other one is a half moon shape. So you really want to pay attention which one are you going to buy. So if you want to change your brake pad before even you order the brake pad, I would suggest you to remove the pad and see how they are, or you can use your eyes and look at on the side how those brake pad looks. Okay, there usually is only two. Okay, so it's not really a big problem to find them. They're really cheap. They're about $8 for two or something on Amazon. So this scooter is pretty good scooter. There is a lot of little things. It all depends what you're really going to do with the scooter. Now, if you have to drive about 8 to 10 miles per day to go to work, this is a perfect scooter. If you have to ride around town with the scooter, this is a perfect scooter to go around. Okay, and will last you about 15,000 miles. Now if you have to do a longer trip, this is not a great scooter. I don't say that this is a reliable scooter. Okay, right here, this is another side of the scooter. That will be the right side of the scooter, and right here you have the exhaust, and that's with the place where you might have some problems sometimes, that this one can break right here. Okay, this is the bracket that can break. Okay, right here you have the fan of the scooter, so you want to make sure you don't cover this area, because this, the scooter needs to breathe, needs to get some air right here, so it will cool down this motor, because this one, there are no water cooler motors, they are air cooler motor. Okay, now right here is one of the spring that you should change and upgrade it to a better spring. Right here, this is not really an high quality bolt. You have a bolt that sometimes could be rust on the center stand. You're going to see some rust on the back of the exhaust. Sometimes that's the problem you could see, but it's not really a big problem. Your scooter keep working. Right over here, you're going to have all the information of the scooter. Okay, that where the scooter has been made, the date that it's been made, where it's coming from, your VIN number. You also have another VIN number right here, vehicle identification number. You're going to find it right here. Okay, so that's another place where you can find the vehicle identification number. Those are a lot of things that I can show you about this scooter. Right here, if you like to remove the front part right here, where is the headlight, you can find it right here. There is few screws, and there is screws on this side right here too. Okay, very important. So you can open up the front part of your scooter. Now, plus you're going to have also two screws down here if you wish to remove the headlights. Okay, so you can remove this part right here. Now, there's a lot of things in the scooter that you can look around and think about that you can do. Okay, now if you're looking for the CDI, CDI is right here. That's the CDI. Inside this scooter, you're going to see on the right side of the scooter the CDI. That's where all the connection go to, and then they are going to the coil that is down here for the spark plug to fire. Okay, so the coil is down here. Be careful down here, because you're gonna find this coil that's got two connections. Okay, but sometimes they're slightly loose and will give you problem over the scooter running. Okay, so if the scooter is not running perfect, just check those ones, because sometimes those little connection breaks. If they breaks, your scooter is not running. And the coil is right here, is like a little barrel, and right here we have the wire and the spark plug boot down here. Now the spark plug boot sometimes there's a problem because it's not really high quality. So if you take like a recess on the street or a step or something, this spark plug boot might come out a little bit, especially at really high speed. Because it's not really a great quality spark plug boot, at the high speed you have more vibration, and the spark plug boot can move a little bit, so the little boot, if it moves, you have a problem. You feel like your scooter kind of stuttering, or something doesn't want to move or something like that. So it's always better to make sure that that part that is the boot of the spark plug is nice and pressed inside. Okay, there's a lot of things in your scooter that you have to look around, especially when you're riding. Especially when you're riding, try to listen to your motor if it runs pretty good or not. It's very important. Down here you have the dipstick right here, so you can check how is your oil. Okay, now make sure you touch the dipstick when the motor is cold. Okay, you don't really want to have burning your hands next to the exhaust pipe. They place a Gy6 next to it, that they put it in just perfect position for you to burn your hands. Okay, so when you get the dipstick out, unscrew it, take that out, make sure you clean it. Okay, and then you place it back inside, and then you look how is the level of your oil, okay, motor oil. Plus you also can look or smell the motor oil to see if you smell something different or strange, you know, that is sometimes burning, smelling or something, or the oil is too smelly, or if you touch the oil you feel grainy, you know, it's like, you know, many signs sometimes with your scooter that you can prevent any big problem. Okay, now down here there is the place where you can drain the oil, and there is a filter over here too on the bottom of the scooter. Now there's also on the other side of the motor there is another bolt you can remove to drain the motor, but the best one is right here. I like this part right here to remove all the oil, because sediment on this scooter will go down, so if you remove the lower bolt you will get all these things out, okay, all the bad things like little, you know, shaving of metals or something that is inside the motor that should not be there. Okay, so just down here we also have on this side right here, you're going to see that you have the starter motor, that the back of the starter motor is on the other side. Now inside here you have the fan right here, but behind the fan you have the starter or bobina. That's the what is really, you know, is really producing the voltage and current to your scooter. Okay, so this is important to have running perfect. You know, sometimes you can even, you know, remove the starter and remove the flywheel that is in front of the starter and clean it with sandpaper, you know, just the inside of the flywheel and the top part of the starter where is the pulse, okay, not the part that is really wires, you know, exposed wires. So you don't really want to clean them with any sandpaper, because later they might not work. Now all the wirings usually they're coming from here, they're going up to the front, okay. Now over here you're going to find the regulator right here that is going to regulate the current. That's what it really say, and is you're gonna change the current from DC to, you know, from actually from AC to DC, because right here is gonna bring the current to the battery that is down here, and what it's going to do is going to charge the battery when you're running with your scooter. Okay, now there's many wires. There is that you can check at this part right here. There's a lot of wires, you know, at the regulator. So sometimes the regulator can be defective or can give you problems in a way that it will give too much electricity to the light bulbs and burn the light bulbs. So if your light bulbs are burning out, the best way is just to change the regulator, and at that point you might have less problem with the lights burning out. Okay, so it's dangerous because at nighttime maybe you're riding a scooter and the kind of like the lights are burning and they go off on you, and you don't really need that at nighttime. So that's something that you can change. Okay, on my scooter I placed some right here the LED light on my turn signal, that they're a lot better and people can see you better. Okay, so that's something you can do too, and have a better view from the other people, because people, they really want to see you, you know, there, you know, you really want to see them to see you actually. Okay, so this one is something really important. Now things you should always put a little bit WD-40. You should put a little bit WD-40 silicone right over here on the throttle cable. That is always very helpful. Over here a little WD-40 silicone. Over here you can place a little WD-40 silicone right here at the injection key. That's always really good. On the other side that you're going to have the little key, on the other side you can put a little bit of the WD-40 silicone. Is very important. It's many places you can put a little bit of, you know, lube, okay, that can help the scooter to run better. Now make sure you don't put none right here, non lubricant right here. Don't use any, because if you put some oil or something that is lube the rotor, your scooter is not going to break. Now, if you like to remove the back tire of your scooter, unfortunately you have to remove a lot of things, okay? Because you have to remove the exhaust system, okay? You have to remove the lower bolt right here of the shock, okay? You have to remove bolts right here, one bolt right here, and I think there's another bolt over here, the 3 bolts right here, and you have to remove this nut, large nut right here. At that point you can remove the swing arm. After you remove the swing arm, and you can remove the tire if you like to change the rear tire of the scooter, okay? That's takes a long time, you know, it takes a long time because there's a lot of little parts to move. Now to remove the whole exhaust, I will remove these 2 bolts right here, 1 and 2, and I will remove the whole exhaust. You just unscrew down here, you have 2 10mm bolts or nuts, sometimes they're nuts down here. You just remove them and you can remove the whole exhaust, okay? So this is a lot of work to remove this back tire, okay? Now if you like to remove the front tire, is a lot easier because you just have to remove two bolts, one on this side, one on the other side. Those are one is 14, one is 17mm, okay? And at that point you can raise the scooter up. Make sure that every time you do something to your scooter, you place your scooter on the center stand. It's very important to place the scooter on a center stand, because placing the scooter on a center stand will give you a little more stability. You know, your scooter is not going to go anywhere. Never do any work on a side stand with your scooter, okay? So to remove this one, you have a bolt over here and a bolt on the other side, and if you wish you can remove also the caliper. That will give you a little more play, and at that point you can raise the scooter on the front a little more and you can get this tire out. So this one, you know, is a lot easier to remove the tire from the front than from the back, okay? So that's something you can look, but you know, the bad thing that the tire in the back, it really wears faster than the one in the front. So on the life of your scooter, you might have to change this tire in the front of your scooter, you know, only 1 time, and in the tire in the back you might have to change it 3 times, okay? So that's what it is really, because in the back you have more weight, you know, plus you're always sitting in the back of the scooter and you're pushing and giving more weight to the rear tire. That's why really the back tire is wearing a lot faster, okay? So that's something you could think about, okay? Now over here you have the carpet, you know, or the floor of your scooter. I have a video that I place some industrial velcro to this carpet right here that is made of rubber, okay? And because this one sometimes it tends to elevate, you know, and you want this one to be firm on the floor of your scooter and don't move too much, because sometimes when you're riding your scooter you need to be focused on riding your scooter, not really focused on the carpet that is moving. So placing some velcro, really industrial velcro underneath, will help you a lot, okay? So this one will be a great thing to do on your scooter, very important. Also, there is a video that I made for the seats, then what you can do, you can place a cover, but usually the cover they're made like a mesh cover, and those cover really help you a lot, even when it's too hot and it's burning, the seat is really too hot for you to sit down. With that cover that's made out of mesh, is slightly higher, just maybe, you know, half an inch or quarter of an inch higher, that will help you a lot. So first of all, the scooter seat is going to be a lot cooler. Second, this kind of like the seat will not be too slippery, okay? So the mesh that you have underneath the cover, the seat, on the seat, is not going to be too slippery, and that's something important when you're going to ride a scooter. Okay, I just did you a little bit of overview on this scooter that is a 150cc. Now I'm going to show you something else that in a scooter is really important, that it will be the This is the motor of the scooter that you have. This is a 150cc scooter and is 157 QMJ. Okay, now be careful, there is two different motors. There is one that is motor A and motor B, so you want to make sure which one is the motor that you have. So just search online which motor that you have. Okay, you have to measure, the studs to studs, how many millimeter you have, and you will find out what's your motor. Now right here you can order online on Amazon. If you have to buy a new motor, what it really will cost you about $500. Not bad for a motor, but if you want to buy a great motor like Taida or some high quality motor for your scooter, really you can spend more than $1,000, even almost $2,000 for a great motor. So right here you have the starter motor, and this starter motor, they're pretty affordable. I can tell you that this starter motor, they're about like $20. If some starter motor will break, you can pay $20. You order on Amazon, do you have any problem? So this one is starter motor right here. There is all the connection that comes with this motor. This one is one of the vacuum line on right here, and right here you have the line that comes from the valve cover. There will be like the breather, and this one usually goes up to the filter box. Okay, or you can use a little reservoir with the filter that, like, I have a video online on where to place a little reservoir. Okay, so this one is a really simple motor, works pretty good, and will last you about 15,000 miles, around there. It's a 4-stroke motor, 150cc. Okay, right inside here you have the variator. Right here you have the clutch. Okay, and right here you have a belt that is a 835 2030. Okay, pretty good motor, okay quality, will not last forever. So that's one of the things with this motor. And let's see, I'll show you another picture that I have about this motor. This is the right side of the motor right here, and you have the rear brake right here, and the distance for, because they have one that is a longer and one is a shorter for a 50cc. Now right here, so you have to make sure you buy the right one, okay, the right motor that you have. So this one is the distance that is 11.25 inches from here to the center, because you want to have the space for the tire over here. Okay, so if you buy the short case, you're not going to have enough space for the tire. Now right here you have the brake for the back there, right here, pretty good quality, they last a long time. Now my suggestion is every time you change your tire, because the tire is almost finished, at that point always change the brake, because the brake will cost you $8. It will not cost you too much money, but because you already moved the tire, at that point it's a lot better if you really change this one too, so you save some time for next time. Okay, so it takes a long time to remove the exhaust system, remove the arm, the swing arm, remove the spring. There is a lot of things that you have to remove to get to this point. So when you're here, remove this brake, even if it's not really finished, just get a new one. Okay, when you change the tire of the scooter. Right here you have the manifold. Okay, and usually up here you have the carburetor. Okay, manifolds sometimes they crack right here, because they're made of rubber, and plus the manifold is made of rubber for a reason, because it's really the suspension of the carburetor. So if you have everything really hard and don't move, you might have a break on the manifold. So, but in the same time, if the manifold is moving with the carburetor, it's not going to break, for a long time. But sometimes this part right here might break, and you might have some leak of air coming in, so your scooter will not run perfectly. Okay, now this part right here is where really the motor is attaching to the frame of your scooter, this location right here, and then you have one spring over here, and then in the swing arm you're going to have another spring over here. Right here we have the fan of your scooter. Right here you have the dipstick. On the lower part right here you have the drain for the oil, for the motor oil. So you're gonna drain the motor from here or on the other side, but it's always better from this side right here, so all the sediment will come out. Right here you have the spark plug, okay? And right here you have a lot of wires coming out from the starter or bobina that they will attach to your scooter with the connection, and you will power up your scooter with that power electricity coming from the starter that is inside here, in this area right here, okay? So it's very important. There is a lot of little things in this motor, okay, that really help you out to make your scooter run almost perfectly, okay? Now this one is the motor for a Gy6 150cc, okay? So it's a K motor. Make sure you get the right size for your scooter. Make sure you get, if it's 50 or 150, long case, short case. Make sure you have an A motor or B motor, because there is better quality. One is better quality than the other one, so you have to make sure you get the right motor for your scooter, okay? So right up here, another thing that I really want to show you, that right here on the lower part you have another bolt that if you wish you can change the motor oil from here too. Right here you can change the motor oil, and back here you have two screws. One is lower, one is higher, okay? So one is down here that you're going to remove the transmission fluid, okay? And up here you're going to fill the transmission fluid. So first release both of them, so you let the fluid drain out, and then you can place the bolt back again down here. Make sure you don't tighten it too much, because if you tighten it too much it might get a strip, or you might have a problem, because it's not going to tie really good. So just tighten it by hand, okay? Now after that you can fill up the reservoir inside here until up here, and then you can close the top part too, but make sure to do not over tight the screws, okay? Right here you have the connection of the brakes, the rear brakes, okay, and you have the wire coming in. This one is one of the place where your motor will attach to the frame, and pretty simple motor. Is a 4-stroke motor, okay? And down here you have the code of the scooter, the motor, and this one is 157QMJ, so it's 150cc, okay? That's it. This one is an overlook of the Gy6 150cc scooter. I hope this one will help you out with your scooter and give you an idea of what to do and where is all the things on your scooter. Now at this point I'd like to thank you very much for watching my video. Please be safe with your scooter. If you have any question, feel free to ask, and thank you for watching.